weapon crafting, living, breathing proof that D2 players will put themselves through the most mind-numbing bullshit ever created in order to get something they want very badly, a weapon roll with the exact perks they're looking for. Hi, my name is Fallout, and today I want to help take the edge off weapon crafting and weapon leveling a little bit. I've heard and seen a lot of very easily avoidable mistakes that players are still making when going to craft or level up their weapons. We're going to go over what those mistakes are so you can stop doing them and stop banging your head against the wall as hard when crafting and leveling up weapons. You'll still have some head banging, but yeah, hopefully less overall. I want to be clear that completing deep sight weapon frames and leveling up a crafted weapon are kinda two different things, to me anyway. Finishing a deep sight weapon frame takes very little time to do and is dummy easy to accomplish. If you really wanted to, you could take a deep sight weapon frame into PvP or PvE and just use it, get a few kills, bam, weapon done. Or you could just do what I do these days, which is delete it immediately. Not too long ago, Bungie added the ability to just straight up shard your brand new deep sight weapon to insta-collect your deep sight resonance. No shooting required. And not only that, but if the weapon you're sharding has an unlockable weapon pattern, sharding that weapon will give you progress to completing the pattern win-win. I've had a lot of people DMing me that this was a huge glitch and to keep it on the down low. Again, no, just a new feature. Kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people, but feel free to shard away. Alright, so let's say you've gone to the Enclave and you've crafted a brand spanking new weapon. Unfortunately, now comes the terrible part. Unless you want a basic bitch package on your weapon, which literally no one does, you're gonna have to go out into the wild and start leveling your gun to get access to higher level weapon perks. For example, the Typhon 4FR, a weapon I don't hold a grudge against at all, has the option to get fitted with both triple tap and firing line. However, we gotta hit both level 8 and level 10 for both base perks and at least level 17 for the enhanced perks. Let's go ahead and get the first major mistake people make out of the way early. Mistake number 1 when leveling up a weapon, not doing Shurochi. That goes for any weapon, even a PvP weapon. I've heard that some folks like my buddy Truest Vanguard only levels up PvP crafted weapons by taking them into PvP. Now, I love True Vanguard like a brother, but I would rather 69 a polar bear than ever attempt going that road. Yeah, Shurochi is unbelievably boring and repetitive, but it's still the most efficient method after all this time. However, just because it's the quickest doesn't mean everyone's doing it optimally. More on that in a minute, but let's really quickly cover other methods that people use instead of Shurochi and why I don't like them for weapon power leveling. Recently, I saw a tweet from my boy Kujay, a streamer you should definitely check out, mentioning that his new favorite method of weapon power leveling is the Golgoroth encounter in Kingsfall. Technically, there are more enemies running around than there are in Shurochi, so more enemies, more kills, and more weapon progress. I tried it out a few times, and I gotta tell you, not really a fan. One of the things I like about Shurochi is that there's one central location where you can bottleneck all the Taken for easy cleanup. The Golgoroth encounter has multiple enemy spawn locations, and they're all fairly spread out from one another. I tried different areas in the encounter, looking for an area where maybe all of them would eventually funnel into, but came to the conclusion that, for me anyway, it doesn't flow as smoothly as Shurochi. Not to mention that you're going to be taking hella damage from everyone. There's a lot that can kill you in the Golgoroth encounter, including Golgoroth himself. TLDR, more enemies? Sure. As time efficient? In my opinion, no. The next method is one that does have upsides, but overall I also don't think it to be very optimal. That would be the opening encounter to the GOA dungeon. Real quick, I'll hit you with the upsides. It's an okay encounter for weapon leveling if you either don't have any raid banners at all, or for whatever reason you wanted to save raid banners. Picking up the fake engram thingies will give you additional super energy, something that IMO is important for power leveling a weapon. Enemies also keep spawning in repeatedly, unlike Shurochi, where there is a limited amount of enemies to shoot. Here's why I don't like weapon leveling in GOA though. It's pretty much inevitable that you're gonna pick up the engram thingies, and that means you have to keep a really close eye on your death timer. Every now and then you're gonna need to run into the cave to dump off your debuff power or you'll die. The other major drawback of GOA is that because there's no raid banners, that means you also have to get lucky in the ammo department. Sure, you can put on double ammo finder for whatever weapon you intend to level up, but if you plan on power leveling anything outside of a primary weapon, you're 100% going to find yourself in situations where you'll be out of ammo and hoping to get lucky with a drop. TLDR, good for primary weapon leveling if you don't want to burn raid banners, but not as efficient as Shurochi. The final alternate method is one I heard from YouTuber NodNaz. It's to load up the moon mission A Mysterious Disturbance, then get to the point where you need to drain 6 hive sigils. As long as you don't complete that objective, you can just stay in that area forever and just keep farming the never-ending hive. Icing on the cake, apparently there are power ammo crates in the area that it seems you can take advantage of repeatedly. The bad news is that this is a weekly rotating mission, meaning that if it's not being featured that week on the moon, you can't do it. Apparently, if you've never touched the Shadowkeep campaign on one of your Guardians, you can actually load up and do that mission right now. But again, that might not apply to you. I'd really like to try this out, especially for power weapons, but needing to wait for it to come around is definitely a bummer. Also, no rally banner means you won't be able to repeatedly take advantage of your super as much, which is going to slow you down. Okay, mistake number 2 that people make. Even when doing Shirochi, they don't play as a hunter. Gotta tell you, if you're trying to power level a weapon and you're not playing a hunter, you're doing it wrong. Certain weapons definitely make less of a difference, but if you're asking me, Hunter is always the play for weapon leveling. So much to the point where I've used Dim, aka Destiny Item Manager, to make a Shirochi farming loadout, and I recommend you do the same. Reason why Hunter is so important is that you can use Deadshot, aka the default Hunter tether, to round up Taken and then kill a bunch of them with just 1 or 2 shots. As long as the enemy is tethered together and you kill and shoot 1 Taken but 5 or 10 or all of them die, you'll get weapon progress for all those kills. I consider myself a Warlock main by trade, but if you want to power level crafted weapons, gotta make a Hunter build. Okay, mistake number 3, even for people who do use Shirochi and do play a Hunter. They don't make an efficient farming build on their Hunter. Sure, they might be using Tether, but they've got low AF intellect and they're either using no exotic or some random exotic that won't help them at all in the farm game, like Stompies or something. If you're gonna do something, do it right. My Hunter farming build, which I'll try to remember to write out down in the comment section below, features Orpheus Rig. That way you're getting a ton of super energy back every time you drop a tether. If you're doing Shirochi right, you should definitely be getting more than 1 tether per run, and Orpheus helps out with that big time. IMO, you really want to pimp out both Intellect and Resil. Intellect to make sure you're getting your second tether back as quickly as possible, and Resil to make sure you're extra beefy and don't die when farming. You should also really try to go for Dynamo on your helmet and Utility Kickstart on your cloak. The goal there being that whenever you have your dodge ability up, you burn it really quick while being near the Taken. Dynamo gives you additional super energy for doing that, and Utility Kickstart gives you back more dodge energy after dodging. The extra bonus mistake to avoid: on your Hunter farming build, do not use the fragment Echo of Expulsion. If enemies get tethered and then die when you're using that fragment, the game will count it as them dying to a void explosion, not your weapon, and you won't get any progress. Instead, try to use Echo of Reprisal, extra super energy for being surrounded, which happens easy at Shirochi. Final mistake that people make, even if they're doing Shirochi, even if they're a Hunter, and even if they've got a dank Orpheus Rig build: they fire their tether right when the door opens. Little nitpicky for sure, but we're trying to be optimal out here, and shooting that tether when the door opens ain't the play. What you really want to do is run in through the doors and go all the way up the stairs to where Shirochi is. Right there at the top of the staircase, that's where you want to drop your tether. If you fire way too early when the doors open, you'll only snag 1 wave of enemies with that opening tether, and if you wait and do it at the top of the stairs, you'll not only get that first wave, but at least 1 more wave of Taken as well. When you're done and no more Taken are going to spawn in, you can either shoot the floor with a rocket or grenade launcher, or just hop onto the plate in front of Shirochi and burn out. With a good run, you can get up to 50% weapon progression in 1 go. I know, Shirochi is just mind-meltingly boring, but if you're looking to get a weapon power leveled as quickly as you can, no contest. Put on a podcast or some Netflix in the background and grind away. Oh, and while you can go to the wish wall and manually enter the Shirochi code, I'll give another shout out to Luckstruck9. He's got a great Discord with an army of bots holding important checkpoints, including Shirochi. Go show him some love. If today's video helped you in any way, please click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on stream.